girl next to you. She's just waiting for something to do. There's a rose fisted love, and the eagle flies with the dove. And you can't be the one you love, like the one you're with. I love the one you're with. Love the one you're with. Sure you love the one you're with. So when you're down and confused, don't remember who you're talking to. Want your concentration slips away, 'cause your baby now is so far away. There's a rose misted love, and the eagle flies with the dove, and you can't be loved. Love the one you're, gotta love the one you're, should love the one you're. Let's stay together.
Thank you very much.
Let's hear it one more time for the band. Be sure and put some tips in the blue cooler right up here on the brick stage. Let's honor them. They came out here, they're performing, and they're not charging, and we're asking you to tip them. They did a great job. Okay, at this time, State Representative Robert Southerland, where are you?
Yes, they're all here. Okay.
2 minutes, and then we have Jensen on.
Woo!
Elected State Representative, 39th District, Robert Southerland.
How you guys doing? In case you haven't had enough speeches for today, here's another one. Tim Hyman, I appreciate your message that we need to get out there and we need to fight this governor. You guys sent me to Olympia back in 2018 and I've been doing nothing but fighting ever since. This governor has lied to us. He told us that we needed to give him 2 weeks to flatten the curve and that would avoid the emergency that he declared. He declared a state of emergency before there was an emergency. Do you guys understand that? We flattened the curve. We gave him the 2 weeks, and he continued it on. He continued to lie to us. It's been 4 months now. I, as an elected official, am done with this governor. It's time for you guys to rise up and fight. We need to get rid of this governor and elect a Republican to restore the law and order in this state.
Love you, Robert.
With all of the edicts that we're getting, wear this, don't wear that, you can go here, you can't go there. Are you beginning to feel like a slave sometimes? 1861, Civil War, over slavery. What did Republicans do? The Republicans rose up, they fought, and they won. And they won the freedom of those slaves. What are we going to do today? We feel like slaves. Republicans, I'm asking you, you need to rise. You need to fight. And we're going to win in November. This is our year. We're going to take the House. Mark my words. We need 9 seats. We're going to take 20. We're going to get the House. We're going to get the Senate. We're going to get the governor. We're going to get a light governor. We're going to get an attorney general. And we're going to turn this state around. Thank you for putting up with all of our speeches. They gave me 2. I think I took a little more than that. Keep going. Tim Hyman and I, we do have a little thing going on in case you don't know. He thinks he's the biggest troublemaker in Washington State. I am. Don't forget that. We're going to take this governor out. We're going to take this state. We're going to turn this ship around. As long as you guys will rise and work your tails off like we are, we're going to have this victory in November. So thank you guys. God bless you. God bless America.
Jesse Jensen, Army Ranger, running for Congress, 8th District.
Hey, thank you all. This is a great turnout. Hey, I don't know if you know it, but the Kenmore police showed up. They said hello. They said, hey, make sure you're doing everything right, and then they left. Let's hear it for a round of applause for the Kenmore Police Department. No tickets. That's great. Hey, 84% of the 8th Congressional District supports law enforcement. You know who does not support law enforcement? Schreier. She had an opportunity to condemn the CHOP. She had an opportunity to condemn the defund the police movement. Did she take it? No, she did not. Where is she right now? Well, she's not in Washington, D.C. because she recently signed a proxy letter to Nancy Pelosi to be her representative here in the 8th Congressional District. Well, not here in the 8th Congressional District, but out there in the 8th Congressional District. Do we like our guns here? Do we like our guns? Do you think victims of domestic abuse should have access to firearms? Yes? Congresswoman Schreier does not believe that. She voted against it. Who here stands with socialism? Representative Schreier wouldn't even condemn the Maduro regime. She wants to stand with socialists more than she wants to stand with law-abiding citizens. Who here wants to protect life? Congresswoman Schreier recently voted against the Born Alive Amendment. For Dr. Death, there you go. For those of you who don't know, that means if a baby's born alive, Congresswoman Schreier does not want a physician to perform life-saving measures on that child. This is what we have in the 8th Congressional District. So who am I? I'm running to replace Congresswoman Schreier. I went to public school. I grew up in Rapid City, South Dakota, out in rural America. I went to American Legion Boys State, Boys Nation. I went to D.C. I ended up working for a congressman. I drove him to Walter Reed Medical Institute in 2007. There I met a young man who had stepped on an IED in Iraq. He had lost both his legs and was catastrophically burned, and all he wanted to do was to go back to Iraq and serve again with his men. That was a moment, a call to service moment for me. I had almost enlisted. I had almost joined the military service academies. 3 months later, I was in Columbia, South Carolina at Fort Jackson scrubbing toilets. I deployed on 4 combat tours, 3 with the Joint Special Operations Command. That's SEAL Team 6, Delta Force, and Ranger Regiment. Round of applause for our military. I came back in 2014 after meeting my beautiful wife, who was out in our car. I just came back from Chelan. You'll recognize the obnoxious black F-150 truck with a giant 4x8 that says Jesse Jensen for Congress. We need a Republican governor, whether it be Tim Eyman, Josh Freed, whoever, to end this ridiculous lockdown so that I don't have to make my own parade and put a sign in the back of my truck and go to some of these small towns to try and unseat this incumbent. I got out of the military in 2014. I went to Columbia Business School. I came back. I worked for Microsoft. I worked for DaVita. It's a kidney dialysis company. There, we lost $200 on every single Medicare treatment that we gave. That's 3 treatments a week or $600 a week. And guess what? That was 90% of our patients. The other 10% were private insurance. What does Congresswoman Schreier want to give you? She wants to give you that across the board. $56 trillion, according to the Congressional Budget Office for Medicare for All. That's what she wants to give you folks. I got into this race because in 2019, a good friend of mine, a guy I deployed with, a guy I fought alongside, chose to take his own life. Sadly, it wasn't the first time that had happened, but it was the first time 9 days after the fact, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez said, hey, the VA ain't broke, so don't fix it. I'm here to tell you. And then she proceeded to make a political point about socialized medicine and the need for socialized medicine for all. I think that we need deregulation, lower taxes. I think we need to protect our First Amendment rights, our Second Amendment rights, the entirety of the Constitution, and I think that we need to support our president. Can I get a round of applause? Do you know what Congresswoman Schreier thinks? She voted to impeach him. She called for his impeachment before the Ukraine phone call. She had the opportunity to condemn Nancy Pelosi for ripping up the President's State of the Union speech. The State of the Union speech, by the way, that I haven't seen since Ronald Reagan. She had the opportunity to condemn that. I already told you, what are some of the other things she's done? She recently voted to give $14,000 debit cards to illegal immigrants. She wants blanket immunity for murderers and rapists lest they catch COVID-19. But we should probably send hairdressers and gym owners to prison for trying to make a living, right? That's what the radical left wants. I'll leave you with this. I toured the Chaz and the Chop not too long ago. What does the left hate? They hate guns. They hate border walls. And they hate voter ID, and I heard police too. It's out there. It's out there. What did I see when I went to the Chaz? Saw a border wall. I saw them checking IDs, and I saw them walking around with guns. In fact, I interviewed one of them. I said, "Hey, Ghost." That's what this young man wanted to be called, by the way. I'm sure that's what his mother named it. "Why are you carrying around that firearm?" "Oh, well, I'm here to protect the people of the Chaz from those that want to do them harm." "Ghost, who's that? Is that the Seattle Police Department?" No comment. If the Chaz or the Chop was an independent country, it would have the highest murder rate in the world. In the world. That's what the left will get you. Congresswoman Schreier recently voted against rural broadband access. She's just done. She called our growers in Eastern Washington, where I just came back from, slave owners. She thinks that H-2A visas is indentured servitude. I've walked McDougal and Sons. I've walked Stamil. I'm telling you, some of these so-called indentured servants that are coming over to work in our fields live better than I did growing up. Here to tell you. So, again, I'm Jesse Jensen. I'm running for the 8th Congressional District. I would love your vote. Who am I endorsed by? I'm endorsed by folks on the right, some real rock rib conservatives. Dan Crenshaw, Congressman Dan Crenshaw, you might have seen him, the eye patch. Let's hear a round of applause for Dan Crenshaw, Navy SEAL vet. Congressman Mike Gallagher, Congressman Mike Waltz. I've been endorsed by the King County GOP. I've been endorsed by, a host of other folks sort of on the other side of the Republican aisle. Dave Reichert, Slade Gordon, Rob McKenna, the mainstream Republicans. I'm endorsed by all of these folks. I'm also proud to have the Washington State Farm Bureau's endorsement in the primary, and I'm co-endorsed by the Washington State Right to Life. I'm endorsed by the Concerned Taxpayers of Washington State, and I'm endorsed by the Hunters Heritage Council. I'm here after the event. Check us out at Jesse Jensen 2020. That's Jesse. There's no I in Jesse. Jesse Jensen, Jensen 2020.com. Check us out on Facebook, Jesse Jensen for Congress, or on Twitter at Jesse Jensen 2020. Again, would love your vote. The ballots are out. If you live in the 8th, please vote for me. And let's give a big round of applause to Paul Hess here for putting this on. Thank you, Paul.
We're trying to get everybody in. I'm going to give Mindy Worth a couple of minutes to tell you about the situation with R90.
Thanks, Paul. Hey, how many people here collected a signature or two for Referendum 90? Hey, thank you. Can you guys give yourselves a round of applause for just a moment here? Okay, in a lockdown, when a lot of people were lobbying to bend the rules for whatever it was that they were trying to do, including getting governor names on the ballot, we managed to not only collect enough signatures to qualify Referendum 90 for the ballot in November, we set a record. No other referendum in state history has collected as many signatures as we turned in to the Secretary of State. So I just want to thank all of you so much for your help, because this was not a one-person, five-person, 10-person show. This was the entire state getting behind an issue which is so completely disgusting. And look, our representatives did not represent us in Olympia this past session. You have a bunch of candidates that are going to come up, and I want you to support them, because these candidates, I'm guessing, all support what we are doing with Referendum 90. And in November, because our elected representatives did not represent us, we're going to go ahead and represent them and vote to reject Referendum 90 in November, and this will overturn Senate Bill 5395, the most disgusting piece of legislation that went through. So many people called their legislators, went down to Olympia, and rallied against this. The governor received almost 10,000 phone calls in opposition to this bill, and only 59 in support, but they went ahead and passed this law anyways. Let's go ahead and represent Olympia in November, overturn this law, support the candidates that are supporting, overturning, and rejecting Referendum 90, and please, thank you so much for your support. After the primaries, we're going to really be pushing with yard signs and all the other good stuff that goes along with the campaign, but right now, let's get through the primaries and support our good candidates, and I'll see you again on the road to November. Thank you so much.
Mindy Worth did an amazing job. We have to give her a lot of credit. In the middle of a pandemic, 266,000 signatures. It's amazing. We've got 2 more statewide candidates. Sue Pedersen, come up here. She's running for Lands Commissioner, and you got 2 or 3 minutes. Take it away, and then we're going to have Higgins come up here, Superintendent of Public Instruction.
This is me. I am so happy to see this crowd here today. Thank you very, very much for coming. And I want to encourage all of you to not just vote and, go down your path on what you want to do in the election, but talk to people that you know. Please, please. It's so important, especially with this pandemic business. It's been harder for candidates to reach, a big audience. But this is a big audience, and I'm so happy to be here. Most people don't know what the Commissioner of Public Lands is about. It's this person is in charge of our State Department of Natural Resources, DNR. And DNR manages 3 million acres. If you can imagine how big that is, that's 8% of our state. That's the uplands. And then another 2.6 million acres of aquatic lands. So the big difference between me and my opponent, the incumbent, Democrat Hillary Franz, has been there 1 term, 4 years, and she's an attorney from Portland. She says she's from Washington, but she's really from Portland, and she got all her education in Massachusetts. She went to a private school in Massachusetts and then got a law degree in Boston, and her degree is in insurance and tort law. But she came to Washington. She calls herself an environmental attorney. She co-founded a nonprofit called FutureWise, which in a nutshell, I'll tell you, FutureWise is what I would refer to as an extreme environmentalist entity, and I have learned so much since I entered this race, things I never wanted to know, but I'm going to tell you what they are. There is a movement, and it's far more well developed than I would have dreamed. There's a movement really to take over all the land in Washington, tell you what you may still own your land, but you won't be able to do what you want with it. DNR, for some reason, is now in charge of any farmland, any forest land. I have talked to small forest owners who have waited 2 years to get permission from DNR to cut a few trees on their property. They have to wait for the permission. They are so frustrated. There have been agreements that have not been followed. Every group I go to, they tell me more that's wrong, and so I'm even more determined to win this race and try to straighten out our state. Because if you don't have property rights, constitutional scholars tell you all your rights start with your property rights. That is so critical. So we don't want somebody who has a law degree telling us how to manage our own property. We don't want them figuring out some big plan to turn Eastern Washington, this is probably their 50-year plan, turn Eastern Washington into no man's land, put all the people in the cities. Well, we've seen how that's working out. And I just think she's amazingly misguided, I would say. That's the kind way to say it. So I hope that you will vote for common sense all down your ballot, and it's wonderful that you're here. Thank you so much.
Ron Higgins, running for Superintendent of Public Instruction.
Yeah! Want my name tag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. After they say that in school, I will ask the kids, well, what does pledge mean? Well, what does allegiance mean? What is a republic. Is it a party? No. What's a republic? They don't know that. Very basic things they don't know. My name is Ron Higgins. I'm running for Washington State Superintendent of Public Instruction. I've been a substitute teacher for 10 years. Before that, I was an engineer. I'm retired. I went to school teaching. I have a certificate in mathematics as a mathematics teacher in both Washington State and California. I've been teaching in 7 different districts in Washington State and in the inner city of Los Angeles, both public and charter schools. One of the charter schools I was teaching at, they had a poster. It said, "What are the civil rights issues of today?" And you know what I told the kids? Gun rights and property rights. Those are the civil rights issues of today. Now, wouldn't it be great if we had a law that required them to teach things like manners and honesty and patriotism? Well, guess what? We already do. And I'll read some of it. Revised Code of Washington 28A.230.020. Common School Curriculum. I'll just read part of it. All teachers, that's all teachers, shall stress the importance of the cultivation of manners, the fundamental principles of honesty, honor, industry, and economy. There's another law. Revised Code of Washington 28A.405.030. Must teach morality and patriotism. It shall be the duty of all teachers to endeavor to impress on the minds of their pupils the principles of morality, truth, justice, temperance, humanity, and patriotism, to teach them to avoid idleness, profanity, and falsehood, to instruct them in the principles of free government, and to train them up to the true comprehension of the rights, duty, and dignity of American citizenship. I'll tell you, it's about time we had the teachers doing that. What they don't need is money, they need some accountability. And I think it's time to put the public back in charge of public education. It's time to direct our kids to the stars and not to the gutter. My name is Ron Higgins, running for Washington State Superintendent of Public Instruction. I appreciate your support. Thank you.
Okay, the band is going to play 2 more songs. Then we're going to have all the legislative candidates up here. They're going to have 2 minutes each to tell you about themselves and their story, and then we are going to have a quick auction and adjourn. So 2 songs. Enjoy yourself.
Hey everybody, thanks for having us out here, and thanks for the donations for the band. It's been great sharing the stage with these great politicians, so God bless America.
The dance floor is open. You can go out and twitch around or do whatever you want to do. So.
It's gonna be alright. There ain't nothing I'd rather do than party to broad daylight. Out my way, hold me back. I ain't wasting no time. Got a tank full of gas, 6-pack of beer, my sweet Evangeline. It's a bound town roulette. 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 Well, I know your papa gonna check my mama too. She does the sass shit along with sisters too. I don't care if it rains all night. Let us give away. I'm going out kicking this guy. Bound town roulette. It's a bound town roulette. Bound town roulette. Bound town roulette. It's a bound town roulette. tune. She does the sad shade, always sets a suit. I don't care, praise all night, if he's getting away. I'm going out, kicking in the skies and in the bound time relay. Bound time relay, it's bound time relay.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
A river all around, not Texas town. About that shot outside the gate. Just let me know if you wanna go.